I'd like to call the September 14th, 2022 combined work voting session to order. Please rise to the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And will you please call roll?
No, present.
Mr. Bloom?
Here.
Brenda?
Present.
Mr. King?
Here.
Moab?
Here.
Neil?
Here.
Ms. Fox?
Here.
Mr. Ritchie?
Here.
Ms. Belkacem?
Here.
Full house. I'd like to announce that the board had an executive meeting prior to this to discuss personnel and informational items. Also, we are going to be adding several motions to the agenda tonight for the board to consider. This action is necessary on the following motions because the actions occurred after the agenda was prepared and published. And these motions are necessary to move the school year forward. So the motions to be added are as follows. This is item number 3 under education, to approve an agreement with the school at McGuire Memorial to provide for educational services for a Central Valley student for 22-23 school year at a cost of $58,799.30. The district is to pay 40% of the tuition. Number 4 under education, to approve an agreement with Wesley Family Schools to provide education services for a Central Valley student for the school year 22-23 at the rate of $3,360 per month. Item number 5 under education, to approve a contract with Start Staffing Medical Services, Inc. to provide nursing services for a Central Valley student at an hourly rate of $60.58 or $67.88, depending on the level of nursing care based upon the physician's order. Under personnel, remove from the agenda item number 9 and add item 13, which is as follows. To approve the resignation of Susan Reinstadler, cafeteria worker, effective Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. So we will now consider a motion to add those to the agenda. And then the public will be able to comment on those particular items also.
Mr. Bloom makes the motion. Mr. Zaritsky seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And at this time, we will go with public comments.
I'm good.
Okay. Going down. Minutes to approve the voting session minutes from August 18th, 2022, which can be found on attachment A. Motion on that? Ritzky, second. Mr. King, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. King, treasurer's report.
The following bills and reports are submitted for approval. A, pay bills. Confirm the August 2022 general fund payments in the amount of $896,159.82. Attachment B. Number 2, confirm the August 2022 cafeteria fund payments in the amount of $1,339.62. Attachment C. Number 3, confirm the August 2022 construction fund payments in the amount of $290,774.51. Attachment D. B, to approve the August 2022 Berkheimer report. Attachment E. I will make that motion.
I have a second. Mrs. DeCenzo. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board policy, number 1, to approve to adopt a promulgation for the emergency operation plan for all emergencies and disasters occurring with the school district. And that can be found on attachment F. Motion, do I have a motion? Mr. Ambrose, second. King, any discussion?
Anything you want to expound on that or?
So we're required to have an emergency operations plan. That emergency operations plan is the district's response to any sort of disasters, so on and so forth. That emergency operation plan was reviewed by all of the administrators, Center Township Chief of Police, Monaca Chief of Police, our school resource officer, Center Township Fire Chief, Monaca Fire Chief, Center Township Emergency Management Coordinator, Monaca Borough Emergency Management Coordinator, Beaver County Emergency Services, Beaver County Career Tech Center, because we're tying into them as well. So it's a plan that's been reviewed by a lot of first responders to make sure that the school district, should something happen, any kind of disaster or whatever, that we're prepared for that.
Thank you.
Mr. Dolph, I want to thank him. He heads that up as our safety and security liaison for the district. So thank you, Mr. Dolph. Anything else? Anything else I need to say?
My trainings, they strongly recommended that we updated our plan to the FEMA guidelines and layout. So we took our old 2018 emergency operation plan, our 2017 hazardous plan. It's a combination of the two. So it was updated to the correct verbiage and format of the FEMA recommendations. All the authorities that Dr. Perry said, and everybody very pleased with the final product.
Any other questions? Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Negotiations?
We have no contracts being handled now.
Okay, moving to education items, Mr. Ross.
Number one, to approve an agreement with the Watson Institute to provide education services for a Central Valley student for the 2022-23 school year at a rate of $53,223. Two, to approve, confirm the release time staff development request stated there. The conference is on the left, the individual attending it, and the date. Three, to approve an agreement with the school at McGuire Memorial to provide for education services for a Central Valley support for Central Valley student for the 2022-23 school year at a cost of $58,799.30. The district will pay 40% of the tuition. Four, to approve an agreement with the Wesley Family Schools, provide education services for a Central Valley student for the 2022-23 school year at a rate of $3,360 per month. Five, to approve a contract with Staffing Medical Services Incorporated to provide nursing services for a Central Valley student at an hourly rate of $60.88 or $67.88, depending on the level of nursing care based upon the physician's order. So moved.
Do I have a second? Mr. Moab? Any questions?
Dr. Perry, the rates in, the 53,223, the 58,799 and 3,360 a month, are those based on having a student in? I mean, we can't have, those students obviously can't be educated within district, but the cost per student.
Correct. It's an out-of-district placement. That's the cost per student to educate them at those facilities, which is why we always talk about doing the best we can to try to educate students here. The one about the McGuire Memorial, Mrs. Park can speak this better than I can, but that is a placement where it's a 60-40 placement, where I believe the state picks up 60% of that cost because of the placement, and the district pays 40% of that 58,000. So that's a little bit of a bonus to that one. As far as the other ones, those are kind of set rates as well. The reason that I'm giving you a per month cost is because we're not sure how many months that student will be there, whether or not they receive extended school year, things like that. And then the nursing, that's required for a student who requires nursing services on for transportation, this one, and we have to contract out for that. And the cost range depends on what type of a nurse, whether it's an RN or a certified nurse, so on and so forth. So that's the difference. Mrs. Park, anything I missed there?
The difference on the McGuire placement is that school is considered an approved private school. So the state has different requirements for them to provide different funding for a certain number of allotted private schools.
Have those costs gone up
Yeah, they go up.
substantially over the years, or
He's asking whether the costs have gone up substantially over the years.
like from McGuire or from?
Mid-40s, upper 40s historically. I mean, yes, there's been some increase, but this isn't really that far off from where it's been.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll just say one more thing, those are required through the IEP. And that's federal law.
Nothing for technology, thank you.
Athletics, Mr. King.
Number one, to approve the following fall conditioning programs for 60 hours at $10 an hour. Brendan Ambrose, boys basketball, Chris Rasso, girls basketball, Kevin Rose, wrestling. Number two, to accept the resignation of Natalie Kondo, head middle school basketball, girls basketball coach, effective immediately. Three, to approve Marcus Brown as head middle school girls basketball coach at a stipend of $1,000 pending review and acceptance of all clearances. Number four, to approve Tim Rudzowitz as head varsity baseball coach at a stipend of $4,000 pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances. I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Second.
Ross seconds. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mrs. DeCenzo, extracurricular.
And this is just an FYI field trips. It's broken down on the chart, the destination, group, and the dates that'll be up.
Buildings and grounds, Mr. Zaritsky.
We maybe want to turn it over to Mr. Rawson for an update before we get into this.
Sure, whatever you'd like. Mr. Rawson, you want to provide us your update, please?
Everybody.
Good evening.
So this is just a quick review and what we've accomplished on site since I was here Thursday. All the storm drain is installed along with all new manholes and modifications to existing manholes. Catch basin, which is a storm drain retention pond, is complete. Finished product on that is a topsoil mix that will go in at a later date. There's still a couple of structures that will be added. We're waiting on. It's not holding us up. Construction site pad elevation has been brought up to rough grade. All the child egress, gates, fencing, and signage are in place, approved by the fire department and township. We placed 360 rammed aggregate piers, which is the foundation, basically. We're looking at about 10 to 12 days to complete that. We did it in 7. It's great for us because it brings everything, gives us about a 3-day head start on all the existing downspouts modified and the tie-ins between the new storm drain pipe. The excavation of the sanitation line is in process. We did complete the manhole structure on School Street, and all that is backfilled at a later date. We'll place asphalt. It's all compacted. Well, we haven't upset any neighbors. Unfortunately, that manhole on School Street goes from School Street to the side of the kindergarten. It's an 8-inch line, and yesterday, during excavation, digging out for the new school, we ran into the old school. We have a huge foundation at about 10 to 12 feet. So today we brought in a large excavator and a large hydraulic hammer. And there will be a change order coming with that. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what that change order is going to be because we don't know when that foundation is going to run out. Looking at the plans for the original school, we're hoping that if we get through this slab that we're working on now, then it takes us into the old parking lot. So we're not expecting any huge foundations under a parking lot. As soon as I get the numbers, then you'll get them.
And we don't think it's going to be a huge change order number, but it's going to be a change order because they had to bring in.
I would really like to think that if the big hammer showed up today and we got into it immediately, I would really like to think if we don't run into any more downstream, we can get through this slab that we're working on now tomorrow.
I think it's about 100 feet from where they started. I came over and when they hit the thing, there's rebar there. You can see rebar and a big slab of cement. When I said to Clint, I said, there was a school here, the old Center Grange School, the old IU. And Ed was able to find the drawings. So we were able to get the drawings to the contractors. And like I said, we think it's about 100 feet. And hopefully they're going to be able, once they get through that slab, that we're going to move on right after that. So I don't think it's going to be significant, but I don't want to misspeak. I won't know that. Bottom line is it doesn't matter. They have to do it anyway. So we had to keep the project moving.
So we also completed putting in another 6 parking spots for construction workers so that we can keep them out of the school parking lot. The footer excavation and rebar install started Monday. We've had 3 really good days, and we will actually start pouring concrete tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And I had the contractor that's going to do the heat pump swap out came in last week. And we just walked all of the penthouses so that he has an idea of what he's looking at with the heat pumps. And it's going to go really well because we've got plenty of room up there, plenty of access. The new units will be in around December, and then we'll start to schedule to swap them out on a daily basis.
I know that from a visual, from prior projects, that the site looks very clean, neat, organized. I'm very happy with what you guys in Hudson have done to make that look very, very professional, especially at that age group with the kids.
With all that said, are we on schedule, ahead of schedule, behind schedule?
We were about a week behind due to supply chain. We finally got all of our structures. We got that week back. And we're actually ahead of the game now because that sewer line, we've run into this problem that's going to be a change order. We are ahead of the installation, and we're ahead because we finished the piers early. We're now ahead on footers, which will give us a head start on concrete. So
We're going to start pouring Monday, weather permitting.
we're going to pour tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
9 o'clock.
When I left the site today, the concrete contractor was calling around to try and get backup concrete suppliers because we wanted 50 yards for tomorrow, and we only got the 30. Well, these guys promised. Now I said, well, if they promised, then why aren't they sticking to their promises? With the way things are today, it's like, get it where you can when you can. We're just hoping that we can keep that continuity going so that everybody's
Have you had a problem with getting materials at all up to this point?
only the manhole structures. We've got all of them now. So
From what you know is, at one time we were having problems getting materials.
Yeah.
Is that all?
we can get it because obviously all of these guys know exactly the situation that we're in. They started way back, so we know that bar, block, etc.
No, just, there are two items you're gonna approve tonight. One of them is, a change order was for $1,240. We had to take an existing manhole and bring it up. I don't know how many feet we brought up, 6 feet. So that's, other than running into the problem where we ran into the old school today, that's the only change order to date. And then the second one where you're gonna see that we're approving the resolution for the stormwater management facilities maintenance agreement and the grant of access easement with the Township of Center. I believe that's related to the bond, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just that the township wanted to be named on the bond from the general contractor. And also that some of the work that's being done is going to be a combination of private and public work, because the township is putting in new storm sewers, and I'm not sure what all they're doing on Center Grange Road, but we'll be connecting to the new stuff as well.
They are going to lay a 12-inch line. 12-inch line is on the other side of the road in front of the school. Bringing that 12-inch line to this side. And at some point, we will give them a fire hydrant that they've agreed to install for us.
Right.
The Water Authority, Fire Chief, Hudson, myself, Dick, we were all in on this meeting where everybody agreed to do what they said.
May actually benefit us in the end, because there may be some piping that we don't have to put in, because the township is going to work with us to move that fire hydrant over to our side. And it's more complicated than that. I'm sure you could speak to it. But
The overview.
Right.
All right, so under building and grounds number one, we're going to look to approve and confirm the following building usage requests, which you can see in the chart. And then number two is the following change orders related to the construction project, which Dr. Perry and Clint explained a little bit more in depth. Under A is the general construction contract, is a motion to approve change order number CG1 for Center Grange. It's a time and material to raise the existing manhole to bring it to elevation to finished grade, in the amount of $1,240. And number three is to approve the resolution 2022-4 directing and authorizing the superintendent to execute the stormwater management facility maintenance agreement and grant of access easement with the Township of Center, which is found on attachment K. And I will make that motion on items 1 through 3.
I have a second.
Second.
Mr. Ross? Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I do want to bring up one more thing. On the 21st of September, we are scheduled to have Triangle Roofing come to Todd Lane and begin the stage for the warranty work on the Todd Lane roof. There's one section of the roof that's being replaced and or fixed. That is not related to the project that we just did. That is related to the roof that was put on 15 years ago at Todd Lane. So when we did that project, we did not rip out the roof because it was under warranty and in good shape. But the time, I don't know if you know the work we did here at the high school, at that same time that work was done down at Todd Lane, and we think similar things that happened here that they came and replaced is what they're replacing there. There's no cost to the district. It's all under warranty, but you're going to see that's going to start happening on around the 21st as well. And it should not take a whole lot of time for them to get on that and to finish that project once they get here and get started. As with everything else, weather dependent, especially when you're talking about roofs. So just an FYI with regards to that. And I would like to say one more thing, Carla. I'm sure that you would verify what I'm going to say. Clint, I think you're doing a heck of a job so far. I really do. Very thorough. You're on site. You're on top of everything, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate all of the updates it gives me. I mean, I really do appreciate it.
Doing a good job.
Mr. Flynn, personnel.
Need to approve the following items: to approve additions to the 2022-2023 substitute list pending receipt, review and acceptance of all clearances found on attachment G. 2, to approve the resignation of Kelly Hudasek, paraprofessional, effective August 17th, 2022, found in attachment H. Number 3, to approve the resignation of Bailey Bungard, paraprofessional, effective August 19th, 2022, attachment I. Number 4, to approve the resignation of Natalie Kondo, middle school science teacher, effective August 23rd, 2022, attachment J. Number 5, to approve Alyssa Condell as a cafeteria general worker, 3¼ hours at a rate of $12.50 an hour, in accordance with the CVESD agreement, effective August 29th, 2022, pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances. Number 6, to approve Amanda Scoppel as a cafeteria general worker, 3¼ hours at a rate of $12.50 an hour, in accordance with the CVESD agreement, effective August 29th, 2022, pending receipt, review, acceptance of all clearances. Number 7, to approve Julie Sudak as an elementary teacher, step 2 bachelor's degree, in accordance with the CVEA agreement, effective August 26, 2022, pending receipt, review, acceptance of all clearances. Number 8, to approve the following 2022-2023 mentors with a stipend of $300. Ann Drake for Drew Bowman. Ann Drake is replacing Christine Van Dyke, who was approved in August. Number 9, to approve Tanya Wang as a paraprofessional at a rate of $13.50 an hour in accordance with the CVESD agreement, effective September 14th, 2022, pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances. Number 10, to approve Marcia Stewart as a paraprofessional at a rate of $13.50 an hour in accordance with the CVESD agreement, effective October 10th, 2022, pending receipt, review, acceptance of all clearances. Number 11, to approve an unpaid leave of absence for a cafeteria worker from October 11th, 2022 through January 3rd, 2023. Number 12, to approve Anthony Del Russo as a full-time custodian at a rate of $14.50 an hour in accordance with the CVESD agreement, effective September 16th, 2022, pending receipt, review, acceptance of all clearances. And number 13, to approve the resignation of Susan Dadler, cafeteria worker, effective Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. I so moved.
You have a second, Mr. Ambrose? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Ambrose, do you have anything that you wanted to say?
I do not have anything, however, I just have a basic FYI, and we've had Seifert and Seifert on campus, working closely with Mr. Maley and our superintendent, Dr. Perry. And anticipate any problems. They just have some cleanup work in the next week. Is that correct?
They finished their field work last week, and they still have some teasers, pension audit, real estate tax analysis, and some federal program audits. But the bottom line right now, it's a solid number, $1,697,000 profit. We had budgeted $687,000, so we're about $1 million to good, which we reported back in May. That's approximately what it would be. So that brings our fund balance to $4,631,000. They will be here at October meeting to give their presentation at the agenda meeting.
At that time, we can give the specifics to the items that led to the surplus.
Thank you. Thank you. Right.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted basically to bring up just 2 things really quick. Maybe the principals could answer this. How it's going at school now with the new ELA curriculum at the elementary schools. What we're seeing with the kids, with the teachers, how we're adjusting to that. Based on what I've heard from my own children and from some other parents, that not all of the materials have been received. The kids do not have reading books. The teachers do not have all of the materials from Amplify. So if we could have some sort of update on that. And another concerned parent asked me to bring up what was happening with the toddling yearbooks from last year, since no parent or child has received the yearbook. And there's been a lot of rumors going on throughout the community about what was happening with that. I know Mrs. Farragotti said she was looking into that, but if we could be provided some sort of update on what's going on with that. So just those two quick points I wanted to bring up. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna respond to both of those.
Okay.
With regards to the reading series, it's learning curve. Time you do something new. It's learning curve for the teachers, for the kids. I have heard reports from the principals that kids are very, very engaged with what's going on. As far as materials go, the materials did not come on time, but they provided us with bound paper copies of the materials. Plus, they have electronic access to all the materials. So it's not that we don't have things that we can't teach the kids. Those materials will be coming, as with everything else in the United States of America. It's supply chain stuff that they didn't get here on time, but we're anticipating they'll be here by when?
Mid to late September was the time frame we're in, but we actually started to receive materials this week. They started to trickle in, I think, this week. And the rep today, actually, we're expecting groups of those shipments to start coming in over the next couple of weeks.
Right. As far as the specifics, I would recommend call the building principals, talk to them about how things are going. If you have any specific questions, they'll be able to answer those. As far as the yearbooks go, we're aware that the yearbooks have not come. We're working on that, looking into that. And as soon as we have information to provide the parents, we certainly will do that. Thank you.
Dr. Perry?
I have nothing.
Yep, nothing.
I've been talking the whole time. I'm done.
Okay, Mr. McCreary.
Nothing really specific other than, we had a good start to the school year. I want to thank our staff and our team coming in prepared. Staff has done a good job. There's been some months in the road as there is any date of a school year. I think might be pretty well. It was a really good start here. In 22, 23. So happy where we are at this point.
Mr. Can't, sorry, couldn't get it out. Okay. Mr. Goff.
Same at the middle school, teachers hit the ground running. Kids seem very happy. They're off to a great start. The 6 and I are around all the classrooms, the hallways, the cafeteria. Everybody seems very happy to be there. Start of a new year. Finished our benchmark testing today. We're going to makeups tomorrow, Friday. Then our data teams will be getting after it next week. We got a new plan in place, hopefully, to use this data similar to what the high school is doing to improve the remediation with our kids and hopefully improve test scores. Ms. Hicks and I are very pleased with the staff and our kids the first 3 weeks.
Ms. Hicks.
I would agree with everything Mr. Dolph said. Just adding, we kicked off our school-wide positive behavior program that first week of school. The Brave Warriors put on a great kickoff and the kids seem excited about the program.
Okay. Ms. Farragotti.
Things are starting off really well. Our 3rd grade teachers are showing Eureka, and obviously the building amplify. Sure, to answer your question, it's awesome to see the kids writing, engaged in reading piece. The kids really are enjoying it. When I walk in, I definitely see them engaged and working together and doing personal narratives. It's really nice to see reading their stories, like about talking about sushi and the things they like to eat and relating it to those stories that they're reading. So I do really see the kids enjoying the program. We have open house coming up at Todd Lane. It will be on the 22nd from 6 to 7:30. And we will also be starting our benchmark testing. We start Nibbles next week and we got to.
Thank you. Mrs. Kasanovich.
Had a very successful start to the year, a little bit more normal. So we're excited about that. The kids are very excited about seeing all of the equipment outside, especially the place. They love all the equipment. So that's fun to see them. The whole building is doing Amplify as well, and it's nice to see that the teachers are embracing it. Learning, they have a learning curve, and so do the kids. All the materials that we did receive, they're using. They don't
want for anything. They're all engaged, so it's really nice. We did start off our syllabus, our school-wide positive behavior with a kickoff. We also are starting our benchmark assessments. We did have kindergarten orientation, so we were really, really busy. And we also do have open house on the 29th of September.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Park.
Everything's off to a great school year. Special education teachers and parents have been working hard to provide support in all areas and get schedules pretty much finalized. So we're making progress there. Congratulations to Central Valley High School. We were told this week that they are going to be used as a national banner school, which that is related to the work that the principal and the special ed staff do here at the high school related to the Unified Youth Club and Unified Sports, which is the watching insurance program. We're one of 683 schools in the country to be recognized. It's a national designation. So I'm proud of the work that everybody's done here and the culture, inclusive environment.
Miller.
Hate to just repeat, but it has been a pretty smooth start to the school year. I do want to introduce somebody though, for those of you who in the beginning. I have a new technician at the high school that replaced Ray Freeman. He took a promotion at West Tech at another district. This is Sean Rendar. You get to see him at a lot of these meetings. Taking over Ray's with the help of extremes. He's doing a good job for us. Don't worry about 2 weeks now. Yep, this is the third week. So this third week.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Anything else, Mr. Arnold? I didn't leave anybody out, right?
Can.
No,
Okay.
you got them all.
All right, here we go. Mr. Zaritsky.
Oh, glad to hear everything's off to a great school year. Project's working well and things are moving forward. Thank you.
Glad to hear we're up and rolling and no major glitches. Busing's been a glitch. Busing's been a
We
glitch.
don't have a busing representative.
That's why Sam's not here. No, I'm teasing.
Mr.
We're trying. Work in progress.
Mr. Ross.
I don't know, maybe administration can or cannot answer this. In all of our buildings, can you tell if we have increased enrollment or dropped in enrollment, or who can answer some of them? Maybe.
High school, we're pretty much status quo. We're about 175 in senior and junior class, about 185, 190 in the sophomore and freshman class. We just did.
So it's about the same then, huh?
Middle school went up a little bit.
All right.
First 190 per class. I believe we've had close to 37 new students this year, but we lost quite a few that moved back down to Louisiana, Texas, Florida from the shelter.
Yeah, from the shelter.
They kind of balanced out, but we may have a couple more.
Kids.
Oh, yeah. But because of shelter.
I think we did have a lot of people. About the same. But my other grades picked up students, so it balanced out the total amount of students. So it's around the same number, but kind of shifted grades.
Okay. Thank you.
Sandra.
For a great start in the year.
To everybody, we echo that, just keep moving the ball down the field. We're going in the right direction. Thanks for all you do.
Mr. King.
I don't have any.
Mr. Miller.
Just happy to see we're getting the recognition for the Unified Sports Initiative. I think it's been a great addition to our school district over the years and glad to see we're getting recognition. Thank you to everyone involved.
To reiterate, congrats to our administration, our faculty, and all the students for making us start school on time and have a good time.
There you go. Nothing. I have nothing at this time. So at this point, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Bloom, do I have a second? Mr. O'Neill, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?